Hello everyone, I'm Hilary Chin. Thank you all so much for coming and watching my YouTube channel. Today, I want to show you how to start using the Looker Studio. It's a visualization tool that was introduced by Google. It's very nice, free, and open access. Now, if you are in the field of humanitarian development, or a student, or a researcher, or a consultant, this video is very, very important for you. Remember that here we deal a lot with data, and we make sure that we bring all the tools that are important for data manipulation, data modeling, data analysis, data visualization. Okay, so let's jump in so I show you how this tool looks like.
Okay, so to start with our Looker Studio, we'll first of all go here, look at the data that we are about to use. So this is the Excel workbook that we are about to use. Here you have organizations, you have division, and we have three organizations here. I think ABC. We have used this just for an example, and then we are going to be focusing on two columns, the total girls columns and the total boys columns. Okay, but of course we can still use the other columns, the returning boys, person with disability boys, returning girls, and person with disability boys, and also IDP girls and boys. You can see for yourself the different columns. Okay, so I just wanted us to take a look at the data set that we are going to be using, and then once we have done that, we have saved the sample data, okay, which we are going to be bringing in. Now if I go to my browser here, just make sure you have a Gmail account that you are opened, and then once you open your Gmail account, you just open a new browser like this and you write lookerstudio.google.com/u/o/reporting. okay, so that is a reporting platform provided by Google. It's called Looker Studio. While you are here, if I click here, I'll go to a new report and start writing my report. If I go down here, you find different reports that I've written. These are visuals that I've dashboards that I've created. You also have other formats here which concerns maps and concerns other amazing reporting type. But since this video is for beginners, I want us to go straight away and go to data sources, and we click. Now when I click data sources here, you see that it opens up this new space, and here I have create a data source. I will now click. Now the moment I click, you find out that we have all kinds of data source here. You see, all kinds. I can bring my YouTube analytics and start analyzing, creating dashboards. I can bring my Google Sheets, I can bring my Excel, but today I want us to do Excel. Okay, we'll just click. When we click there, you see that these are all the data set I brought in, and you could see previously when I was showing you that I have other reports that are written. These are the databases, and this is amazing because here you find the worksheet itself, and then you find a different the workbook itself, and then you find a different worksheet. For instance, this particular data here, these are the different worksheets. Okay, I'll just come here and I click new. This new, I want to bring in a different data set. I've saved this on my desktop. I'll just click that file, it says upload file, and then I go to my desktop here and I look for that file, it says sample data for use, and I click open. Now that data is being brought in. Okay, this data like this is the data like I showed you. This is the data that we are bringing in through that method. Okay, make sure you have a stable internet connection, because Google works a lot with internet, because these are cloud-based activities. Okay, right here you see that my data came in. It says sample data for use, and then it has the different sheets. These are the different sheets. I have sheets data 2, which is one sheet, data 3, which is one sheet, and then I have data itself, which is the sheet I want to use. If you look on this area of configuration, it talks about including an entire worksheet. Here, if I just want a specific range of my worksheet, I can just write it here and it will just pick that for me. Okay, and then here also it says use first row as header for sheet range. It also works. You also find this scenario in Power Query when you're working with Excel, or when you're working with Power BI. Okay, so here it says include hidden and filtered cells. Here it says select rows to skip, or select columns to skip. So I want to skip some particular columns or rows. I'll just come here and I enter them here, and I say I don't want them to come in because I don't want to stress my data. Okay, for instance, if you look at here, there are some specific rows or columns that we are going to be working with, just total boys and total girls. Let's say I don't want IDP girls to show, I'll just indicate column G. I don't want returning girls to show, I'll just indicate column E. These are the different columns that we are not going to be using. If I wanted to avoid that, I'll just do it from here. Just click select columns, and then I just put the different columns I don't want them to come in. But now I will not bother myself to do that. Okay, While I'm here, remember that we have already brought in this data. I'll just go to connect and I click connect. Now it is connecting that data and bringing in my data from Excel. Wow, this is where we are. You see, so this is my data set here. Okay, so if you look at all this header here on my in my workbook, you see that all this header here has been transformed and rearranged here. You see, so we have division, we have boy host, we have returning boys, we have organization. You see, so it gives me the data type. So it says organization is text because we have organization ABC, and it says division is text because we have FACO and the other division. Okay, now this is just a sample data set. Okay, so right here you see that under this default aggregation we have sum. So we are now summing the different elements of this data, like the boys, girls, they are being summed up. Okay, if you want to choose other items, you can come here and say average, count it, maximum, minimum, medium, standard deviation, variance, and so on and so forth. So first of all, before we change some things here, we'll first of all go up here and then create a report. So we want to start creating our report. We have brought in our data and we love the way it is. We'll just go there and we write create report. So right here we are going to come in and start creating our report.
Now before we continue, I want you to know that this tool also works like Power BI. When you look at Power BI, there's a level where when you get to, you are able to manipulate data within the Power BI system in the Power Query. It's the same format that this Looker Studio has. Let's jump in so we continue doing our manipulation.
So this is our report system and it looks so amazing, right? Take notes, we are moving from here. The moment we click create report, it brought us to this different tab here. And the first thing I want to do, I just want to go up here and then I click this and then I give it a name. I just put demo, right? Demo. I want to give my report a name, demo. Now when I give my report a name, you see that this is a canvas, okay, where we'll start writing and creating our dashboard. So the first thing I want you to know here is that we can add a page. Okay, we can add a page. I've just added a page. So now we have page 1 and we have page 2. The next thing I want you to know is that we can also come here and then we add data. So if I click here, it brings me back again and asks me if I want to bring in data, but we are not bringing in data because we have already brought data. Okay, here again we can blend, here we can add charts. So if I click here, it shows me the different types of charts that we have: bar chart, pie chart, bubble maps, you have field maps, you have heat map, you have the geo chart, you have the combo chart. You have different charts here that you might want to use, and remember that this chart work according to the kind of data that you expect to bring in. Okay, and then up here also we have file. Sorry, you can share, you can do a whole lot. You can do a whole lot here. You can make copy, you come to review, preview, you can do a whole lot here. You come to page again, you can create a new page, you can duplicate, you can delete a page from here. Okay, this is very, very important. And let's go straight away to show you how we manage our data. Now you see that right here we have the different data that we brought in. Okay, this data here, it comes and rearrange itself right at this corner here. You see that these are our different pages that we created. So I can come here and I rename a page. Okay, right here I can just say page 1, I can just say P1. Okay, and then I can come again here and I click and then I just give it a name again and I say P2, right? So we have 2 pages, okay, whereby we are going to be writing and creating our chart. Let's start with the first page. If I come here and let's say I want to do divisions, I want to see how many total boys and girls are per the divisions. Like we said earlier that we are going to be working with boys and girls. I'll just come here and I choose my chart type, and then I will likely choose maybe I'll choose the vertical bar chart, and once I choose that, I click it here, I allow it, it goes now by default and then picks the data according to the default state of the chart. But that's not what I really wanted. I wanted to emphasize that I want to see the divisions as against the different total boys and girls. So I'll come here now and I click my division. Remember that I just clicked here and it shows me all these different data type appears here, and I select what I have to select. This is to make your work easy, right? And then under here, remember that up here we are dealing with the x-axis. Okay, so under the y-axis, pay attention. Under the y-axis here, you see that we have records count. Now this is just counting the number of records, but not really giving the clear insight of those records, okay, which is okay. Now I'm going to come here under y-axis and I add a matrix, and here I said want to be looking at total girls, and then I select again want to be looking at total boys, right? And I select again. You see that automatically it gives us our data set here, and then I'll come here now and I delete these records because I don't want that to distract us so far as our data is concerned. You see, I'll now bring my data right here. You see, this is my data here, this is my visualization. Please, this tool is totally free online. It's very powerful. You can start using this to visualize data for your NGO or any other organization. So right here, what I want to do here now is to come here. You see that there are two areas here. You have the style. I'll rush to my style here, go right under there, and then you see that there are two options. You see the horizontal and the vertical. So I can click the horizontal, it gives my data on a horizontal style. I click vertical, it gives my data on the vertical style. I can come here now and I decide to increase the bars. Okay, it's now at 10. So I can reduce it by 9, I can reduce it by 11 if I like. It just makes it bigger, right? And in the width as well, I can make them smaller, I can make them bigger. I can also come here and make the other areas bigger and smaller, you see. And then here again, I can show my data level, which is very important. Now once I click that, you see that my data level shows on, and it shows the total girl 1000, total boys 1000 as well. And then in this particular division, remember that we are looking at it as the divisions, right? And then under here also there's a whole lot we can be doing. I can come here and I bold. When I bold my text, you see that it changes to that bold. When I click that, it comes back to normal. And this is just how we can do a whole lot. Now I can change the colors of my different visuals. I can click here and it gives me that color, you see. And I can also come here and I click here and it gives me this other color. I can decide to bring the colors in this style, okay, depending on how I want my visuals to look like. So right here it says bubble. I can decide to make it single. You see that it changes, right? I can decide to bring it back to bubble. Now there is something that I want to show you that is very, very important. If I come to setup here, and then let's say I want to also make this data bring the average of girls and boys, I'll just go back to this my data here. What I'll do here is that I'll come to this total boys here and I click. Once I click it, it says duplicate. I'll duplicate, right? It brings me another version of that particular column here, and I'll say total average boys, and then I'll come right here and I click, and then instead of allowing it to sum, I'll click average, and then it changes that to average, right? I'll also go to the girl and then I click that, and then I go to duplicate, and then it gives me another option which says total girls again, copy of total girls. I'll come here now, in order to make it unique, I'll say total average girls, right? And that is it. And I'll come again here and I'll click again and I emphasize that I want it to be average, right? Once I do this on this part, I'll just move to the other side of my visual and I'll do something like refreshing. I'll just come here and I refresh this data. This refreshing is to create a situation where that those changes are being affected by this other system, right? So right here you see that we already have our total average boys and total average girls. You can do this for any other visual or any other item that you want. I'll also click here, go to my chart now, and then I'll choose this different kind of bar here, and then I click that. Once I click that, I'll come here and I'll emphasize again. I'll just come here and I say no, I want the division, and then here now I want the, okay, I think I'll change the chart because it's giving me something else. I think I'll still go by the bar. Let's just go by the first bar that we used. Perfect. We'll go by this bar, and then we'll come here now, and then we choose these divisions, and then it gives us X and Y areas. So we'll come here now, and instead of taking our normal boys, we'll take average boys, and then we take average, no sorry, average boys, average girls, not average boy, average boy. We'll come here now and we take average girls. Okay, perfect. So you see that our data now is giving us something very unique and very beautiful. So right here I'll just come here again and I go very quick to my style, and then I bring my data labels on. The moment I bring my data labels on, you see that the numbers are different from the averages. Okay, so it tells us that in this area total average boys is 31 and total average girls is 39. Okay, so we can see both the average and the sum just by this technique that we have created here. Now there's another thing I want us to look at. Now what I want us to look at here is what is called filter or slicer in Power BI. So here I'll just come here and I click, and there are different control options here. I want to choose a drop down list control. Okay, and I'll click here. So of course it will go and automatically pick what it will pick, but that is fine. But here what I want to emphasize here very seriously is this. I'll simply come here now. Instead of choosing division, I want to choose the organization. I want to create a control per organization, and I'll just click my refresh here. I want this to refresh the button so that I can pick all the organizations. Now I want to be seeing per organizations what is happening per organizations in these different regions, per total or sum and average. So if I come here and I click, you see that I have all the organizations, right? So I want to see what organization A is doing. I'll now come here and I click only. So the moment I click that, let me shift this so that it gives me a good view of what I'm doing. Sorry, let me shift this here. So you see that organization A, it tells us what is the average of children in this division for organization A and also in this other division, and then in terms of the sum, what is the sum in this other division. So it's giving us a sum and also the averages in that particular organization. If I come here and I click again B and I say only B, it gives me for only B, and then I see the data for this organization. Okay, there's another thing you can also do here. You can click this text box, bring it here, and then you can give it a title, right? Depending on what you want, you can see a demo report. A demo report for NGO. Are you seeing now? So you can bring this title, put it wherever you want, rearrange it the way you want, you know, the way you like it, and just put it wherever you want to put it, and maybe add colors, you see, and then you see there's a whole lot that you can really do there. So far as that is concerned, you can underline it, you see, you can bring it like this, you can bring in so many things. But I don't want this report to be long. You can also upload from computer, you know, a lot that is happening. You can also upload from computer and do a lot of things here so far as this report is concerned. So right now I think we can, of course, before we go, this is page 1, that's page 2. You can continually just write your report. If the visuals are not getting enough or this space is not enough, you can go back to your report 2 and then you write your different report. And then after you have written your report, now you can share this report with anybody that you want to share with.
One other thing that is very important about this tool is that when you analyze your data and create your dashboards, you can share it across teams, across friends, across different partners, or across different funders online, just by doing some link sharing, and they can just click and use either their phones or laptops to look at the reports that you have created. So it is so customized and works at that high level of professionalism. Let's jump in and we conclude this video.
So right now I can come to view here and I preview. You see, so that's my report. You see how clean it is. A demo report for NGOs. So let's say we had page 2. We just come here and we go to page 2 and we continue analyzing our report. And here now you can share this report. Okay, you can share this report. You can come here. Let me adjust this. I think that is really, I want to adjust this. I want to bring it a little bit in the middle. Okay, perfect. So if I come here now and I preview, you see that you can send this to anyone and the person just come here and then do a preview and say, hey, we want to see what is happening with only organization C, and then they'll click that and then they are able to see. You see, they are able to do the analysis very clean. They can come here and they say they want to see what is happening just organization and maybe A, and then they are able now to see. They might want to just put all the data in place, and then you see that's the data, all the data in place. So this is how you can share. I can also come here and I click here and I'll share or invite people. I can just click on that share itself, and then now I can say, okay, I don't want it to be restricted, I want to make it public, and then I share with viewers, or maybe I just want somebody to edit, or I want somebody to just view. So I can share this report now to public. So each time you open this link, you just open, then you see what is happening. So you can do this report and share across different employees or different team members. Thank you very much.
Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Please go down below there and click that link and be part of our WhatsApp group. If you need consultation one-on-one on such tools or any tool that relates to data analysis or data visualization, please make sure you reach out to me through that WhatsApp group. Thank you all so much and stay blessed.